Hey everyone, welcome to The Savoring. I'm Jimmy, and in this video I'm going to show you how I make my most delicious taco beef. I mainly use this meat in tacos, burritos, burrito bowls, etc. And every time I make this, my family goes absolutely crazy. It's just so super succulent and flavorful. So here's a look at all the ingredients that I use. 1 pound of ground beef, 2 Roma tomatoes, half of a white onion, half of a fresh jalapeno with the seeds removed, about half a cup of beef broth, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic, or you could use garlic powder, half of a tablespoon of salt, half of a tablespoon of black pepper, and half a tablespoon of onion powder. The first thing I do is blanch and peel the tomatoes. To blanch the tomatoes, I start by cutting an X pattern in the skin. This makes it easier to peel later. Then I just put them into boiling water for about a minute and a half, and then after that I dump them straight into a bowl with ice water to stop the cooking process. At this point, I'm not trying to cook them yet, I'm just trying to loosen the skin. Sometimes if I don't feel like doing this step, I'll substitute about 2/3 of a 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes, but fresh does always taste better. Next, I'm going to put my beef in a skillet, break it up with a spoon, and start browning it like you normally do for most ground beef recipes. So while the meat's browning, I'm going to go ahead and peel my tomatoes. I just start at the bottom of the tomato and peel towards the stem end. Those 4 sections of skin should peel right off, leaving behind just some nice, beautiful, peeled fresh tomatoes. At this point, I'm going to quarter my tomatoes, quarter my onion half, and cut the jalapeno into some chunks. I don't really need to dice them up into small pieces because I'm going to blend everything in my blender. So I combine the tomatoes, onion chunks, jalapeno chunks, and my half cup of beef broth into my blender and blend it up into almost like a smoothie-like consistency. I like to pulse the blender instead of just turning it on. That seems to pull the ingredients down towards the blade better and prevents the mixture from getting way too foamy. When it's done, I have what almost looks like a smoothie or a salsa. Now that my meat is browned, I'm going to remove some of the excess grease with a turkey baster. This is a good way to do it if I don't like dirtying up a colander, and I do like to leave a little behind just for the flavor. Next, I dump in all of my spices and mix everything around to get the meat coated in all of those delicious flavors. Man, the smell of this mixture right now is just out of this world. I wish you guys could jump through the screen and smell it with me, seriously. Once that's all mixed up, I'm going to pour all that mixture from the blender right into the meat and just stir it all around. At this point, it's looking a little thick, and I want to stew this meat for about 30 to 40 minutes, so I'm going to add about half a cup of water. This way, as the meat stews down, it doesn't run out of liquid too soon. Now I just bring it to a boil, reduce the heat a little, and put a lid on to let it simmer in all those amazing juices. I do leave the lid a little offset so that as it simmers, it'll slowly evaporate most of that watery liquid out of there. So after about 10 minutes of simmer time, it's looking and smelling so delicious, and that liquid is just starting to reduce down just a little bit. I still have a ways to go, so I'm going to put the lid back on and simmer it for about another 10 more minutes. So here I'm about 20 minutes in, and it's really starting to thicken up. Still not quite where I want it to be, but it's getting there. So I'm going to re-lid it once again and let it go about another 10 to 15 minutes. At this point, it's been about 35 or so minutes total, and this meat is right where I want it to be. That sauce is nice and thick, and it just coats the meat with all of its deliciousness. The flavors have all melded, it's super tender and ready to be served. Now all I got to do is spoon it on a warm tortilla, a taco shell, or whatever I'm feeling that day, and just enjoy all the deliciousness. Seriously, you have to give this meat a try. I don't think you'll ever want to go back to using a taco seasoning pack again. I know I sure won't. So if you liked the video or learned anything, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next video.